Hi everybody, welcome to Leon's Chainsaw Parts and Repair. Happy Thanksgiving weekend. Taking the advantage of some time off to try and get a little more caught up here in the shop. Had a hell of a backlog. So, we're looking at Dave's XL925, Super XL925. And this is a pretty damn clean looking saw. He took the handle off so it would fit in the box better for shipping, and I'm not going to waste his money by reassembling it for no good reason. So, but you can see it's real clean. This one, oh, Canadian serial numbers suck. If I was going to guess, I'd guess 1980 on this one, but that's a guess. So his instructions for me were the pull starter doesn't work real well. It is recoiling okay for right now, so we'll leave that to be secondary. Said it wouldn't start. Not surprising if it's been sitting for a while. And I guess the muffler gasket was off, and I see this muffler is loose. So, yeah, that's where we're at, and I thought this will be a bit of a longer video, but I would take you guys through the process that I use when I get one of these saws in, because if you buy something from eBay, you know, you're going to go through the same thing to figure out what you got, what you need, and whether it was a good buy or whether it wasn't. We've all had those money pits. I'm going to start by getting this muffler off. The 925 was kind of famous for running lean if somebody misadjusted it, which was all too common. If you've tried to find a 925 cylinder recently, you know there aren't that many out there, and there's a reason for that. They've all been used up. Well, maybe not all of them, but a hell of a lot of them have. And I always hated this West Coast style muffler because this one bolt is so inaccessible. Plus that guard was all bent out of shape. So, anyway, hopefully everybody had a wonderful Thanksgiving with family and friends yesterday. I know I ate enough to last me for damn near 2 days worth. And I don't feel bad about it either because it was really good. So when you get a saw in, you want to do some real preliminary checking. Spark, compression, cylinder. Much beyond that, you're going to be able to get it running somehow. Now, I already pretty much knew that she was going to be fine on the cylinder based on the compression. But I'll show you. So this is a thin ring saw. We'll see how well she focuses. There we go. You can see the nice and shiny in there. A little discoloration. That's just carbon. That looks great. No reason we can't get this saw to run. So the next thing I'm going to do is check the spark. As soon as I verify that we do, yep, there's the exhaust gasket right there where you said it would be. Let's see what we got in the way of spark. I suppose I should have cleaned my workbench before doing a video like this. You guys didn't have to suffer through me trying to find. They don't need to be that tight. They only have to be tight enough to seat that gasket. So that looks like a brand new NGK, or at least an awful close to new. Now I've learned the hard way recently. If you guys have been watching my channel, that 721 for Chance gave me some real fits. I could get it to fire at the plug. I could get it to fire on the little rotary LED bastard. But I'd put it together, put a prime to it, and it wouldn't run. It wouldn't fire, apparently under compression. So, if you use this style of tester, if it'll jump that gap, that's basically 1/4 of an inch. And you can make your own. You can bust the ground strap off of a regular spark plug, and then you just hold this about 1/4 of an inch away, pull it over. If it'll jump that gap, it's more than enough to fire. I happen to have this tool, so I'm going to use it. I'll see if I can set it so that you guys can see it too. This plug wire is going to fight with me, but There we go. Switch is on. Alright. We're cooking with gas now. Hopefully, you guys can see that in the video. It's firing at a real low speed. And that's what you want. If you've got to crank that fast before you see any spark, you're probably going to have trouble with it. So, here we are. We got spark, we've got compression. As the old saying goes, give me fuel, give me fire. So I'm going to assume that whatever problems this saw has are on the fuel side. And when you find a piece of fuel hose tucked up in the air filter cap, it makes you think it might be a busted off fuel hose. I still see some in place here, but let's see what we find underneath the air filter. Oh wow, okay. This has been upgraded to the Walbro WJ, if I remember correctly. Wow. I don't think I've ever seen one of these on a 925. I knew they existed, but I hadn't seen it. So I'm a little surprised that somebody would go to the trouble of this and not keep using the saw. Now that is soaked with old gas and oil, this deflector is, so that could be left over from the old carb. This thing looks really clean on the inside. Ah, okay. So these things used a two-piece fuel hose setup. It doesn't smell as bad as I thought it would. That really does stink, but it could be worse. So, if you haven't bought yourself a set of the cheapo dental picks from Harbor Freight or whatever store you got in your area, like Harbor Freight, I'd recommend you do it. Because fishing things like these hoses out, well, there's part of why it won't run. There's no filter pickup here. And I don't think that's not the bottom of the tank. Wow. Wow. So without a filter, these things, you might accidentally get them to run, but they won't run right. That filter acts as a reservoir of fuel, so that when you rev it up, it's always got enough supply there. So, let's just take care of that problem right now. Drop that back in. Okay, so this hose is pliable, it's intact. I think I want to hear it run. So let's get this muffler squared away, at least temporarily. If I can get that gasket out of there. Actually, that's... Whoop. Oh, I love it when bolts go on the floor. But even more so, I love it when I'm dumb enough to tip something upside down and drop it. So that's not actually the gasket that's in here. That's the muffler reinforcement plate. Yeah, this muffler's got some issues. First place, it ought to split apart here. There we go. That'll make that a little easier. But we also have some burn through. Right there. So it's good enough for a test run, but it's not the greatest. Still can't get that bolt any easier. So if we get this thing running, I'll talk to Dave about perhaps replacing that cap. Alright, so with those supports out of the way, try to get this thing to fall back It's upside down in here. I know you guys can't see that on the video, but there's a contour to this thing. If I could get it to come out, I'd show you. But instead, it's just going to drop into place. And I learned a long time ago, you don't look a gift horse in the mouth, or gift muffler in this case. Make sure, if you're doing one of these saws, or any Homelite saw for that matter, almost all of their mufflers used spacers to prevent you from collapsing the cap. Make certain that those are there, and if they aren't, source them. Almost any muffler part internal other than maybe the 2100 series is available out there, whether on my website, on eBay, somewhere. Take the time to try and find it so that you don't do a bunch of damage to your muffler. It's a lot cheaper to replace one individual component or a couple spacers or something like that than it is the whole thing. A complete muffler like this typically sells for around 50 bucks, and those spacers probably about a fifth of that, so it's worth it to take the time to do it right. Now what I'm going to do here is get this thing bolted on. There should have been a gasket between the muffler and the head there, but since I just want to do a test run, I'm not going to worry about it. Especially since I know that this is going to come off again. Now, I like to use my DeWalt rattle gun on a lot of this stuff. If you're one of those people that thinks you got to pull the trigger and hold it all the way down, you don't. Be very careful with this. You can do some damage. Go slow. And on a small engine, especially if you're doing small screws, a couple clicks of that hammer, that's all you need. You're good to go. Alright. Well, this is an almost new, if not brand new, spark plug. I don't like that gap though. It's a little tight. That's better. And no, that wasn't scientific. That was just my eyeball knowing where these things should be at from years of messing with them. The proper way would be to use a spark plug gapping tool. And I believe that should be gapped at about .020. My gauge is over there buried somewhere, so I'm not going to dig it out. I'm going to trust my eyeball on this one. Okay. Some nice compression. So, let's dump some fuel in here and we'll see what happens. If we're lucky, this guy will fire up. Alright. Cross your fingers, everybody. Gas cap would help. She's going to come to life. Definitely got some old nasty in there. Reset these from scratch. Try that. Well, this video didn't get as long as I could have. We got lucky there. You get a sense looking at something as to whether it should be messed up. This carburetor, hopefully you guys can see just how shiny and clean that damn thing is. Even down the throat, it looks brand new. Pliable hose. I just had a feeling that she might fire. So you probably noticed as it was running there was some smoke coming out down here. That's the lack of the gasket, and there might be another burn hole that I didn't notice. Definitely louder than it should be with this. So I'll get with Dave and see what he wants to do. The sprocket's shot. Got a spur sprocket in there. Hopefully you can see the nice wear on the teeth there. Probably change this out to a rim style. It is oiling. It's nice and wet there. Clutch appeared to be disengaging properly. So I'll pull this starter off and just oil the mech. Well, heck, we can do that together, because this is something that folks don't always think about doing, but every once in a while you should do. At least once a season. Ha! That screw is in bad shape. That will get replaced. Come on, baby. Oh. Good Lord. That was put in there by He-Man. That's going to go where it belongs, right in the garbage can. Okay, so the other thing I'll do, once she cools down a little bit, is hose this out. Once a season, if you use your damn saw more than just for trimming in the yard, if you're cutting some firewood, take the time to clean it out. Air will take out dry stuff, oily crap like this. You see where my finger wiped there. Some hot water, some, purple degrease or something, whatever you prefer. Soak that down, hose it out, and then run it to dry the thing out. A little water's not going to hurt this stuff if you dry it out when you're done. So, looks like there might have already been some WD-40 sprayed down in here at some point, because I see some rusty gunk. So this probably should come apart, and we'll just check out what we've got under here. Since the recoil spring is working, it doesn't seem too likely that it is a problem. I'll try and reuse this rope because it's in good shape. Snip the end here. And then before get too carried away and the end of the rope frays up real badly, reburn the end here. This rope is slightly heavier gauge than what Homelite would have put on here, which you can do, but you lose a little capacity on the spool. Alright, so with that untied, this is going to want to rewind. Come on. That's going to be tight getting back in, but I'll cross that bridge when we get there. Try not to let this just run free. take the tension off lightly. So there's the screw, and then there's the retainer washer. Make sure you get both of those out. Yeah, I can't tell if that's water, oil, or what, but it was pretty filthy. So you want to twist counterclockwise here. Just lift it out. Oh man. Okay. That's a mess. That really needs to be cleaned up. You guys are gonna think I'm insane, but it smells like latex paint. So I'm back to, I have no idea what that is. But it's gonna get thoroughly cleaned. The whole saw is gonna get cleaned, get put back together. If I can't get this crap cleaned out, I'll put a new felt on there. Just replace that clutch drum. And talk to Dave about the muffler cover, whether he's happy with that one or if he wants me to replace it. We'll do a final video when she's cleaned up and ready to go.